Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Interview. Good evening to you, listeners and viewers of TDN Radio, TDN TV, TDN Media in general. And of course, the listeners of This Week in Interview. A special good night to you, my regular listeners. You tune in every Wednesday night. There are folks who tune in to This Week in Interview every single Wednesday night for the last, I don't know, 10, 12 years. Hardly ever miss a program. And you have no idea what that means to me. That's what keeps me um, doing this every week. This is the most consistent thing that I have done, is to host This Week in Interview. And I thank you for that. Don't feel left out if tonight is the first time that you're listening to This Week in Interview. You are just as welcome. As a matter of fact, I'm super excited to have new listeners on. And so I hope that when you listen to the program or watch the program tonight, that you too can become a regular listener to This Week in Interview, because we have to grow the audience. I was looking at the reports from last week. This week, for the last, I think, 14 days, Facebook sent it and said that we had 15,000 views um, in the last 14 days. So that's pretty good. We had so much competing with us in terms of carnival. And speaking of carnival, I don't know who Guajam hurting them this right now, who Plat Pier feel like it cannot touch down because it looked like Dominica just had too much fun, if there is such a thing. Just had too much fun for the last week, and culminating into Monday, Tuesday. People that think that they can fet, they go to Dominica, and Dominica Carnival is breaking them down. And they say nobody can fet like us. And for what it's worth, it's something to be proud of. My guest tonight on This Week in Interview is Mr. Alex Bruno. We know Alex is a carnivalist, and I mean that in the broadest of terms, or at least he used to be. He'll tell us if he still is. But he's a calypsonian, an MC, live broadcast host. I don't know if he ever judged any of the shows, but you know, Alex is deeply involved in Dominica's Carnival. So I think he's one of the best guests that I could have tonight. Ash Wednesday 2026. I was just seeing a little bit of the Tewe Vaval um, activity that's going on in the Kalinago territory in Dominica. And of course, accompanying us as a guest is Mr. Carlos Charles. It's his first time on This Weekend Interview, and I'm always excited for first times. I suspect it will not be the last time, because he is the political leader of Team Unity Dominica. And so, as the political leader, I would expect that he would avail himself of the various media that are available for him to share the message and the platform of his political party, TUD, Team Unity Dominica. And so, a warm welcome to Carlos. As a matter of fact, as it's your first time here, I am going to give you first dibs and to wish you a very warm welcome to the program. It's great to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Drago. Thank you for having me here on this weekend interview. Well, you may not know, but Carlos is also someone who has been involved in media business, in entertainment culture in Dominica for the past many years, being part of my media enterprise endeavors.
So
But
give us some details. Give us some details. Let us know who you are.
yes, I'm Carlos Charles from both the community of Kinfield. I also reside in the north. Um, I am a young person, fairly young person. I reached out to Mr. Bruno. We probably want to get into this later, but I'll just give you a brief synopsis. I reached out to Mr. Bruno after observing the work that he has been doing over the past couple of years. and I realized that he was onto something in a positive direction for our country. Hence why I was the person who reached out to him and told him, "Hey, we need to start something, a new political persuasion for our country." Hence the creation of Team Unity, so creating a platform for persons who want something new.
All right, but when you said you were involved in media and that
Yes,
sort of thing,
but the media stuff, by in my professional capacity, I am a ICT professional. I also started a media company called C Media Inc. We do media communications, promotions, productions, management, event management as well. Um, and the list goes on. Things
what's the
things
name of your company again? Say it
C
slowly.
Media, C Media, C Media Inc. That is CEE
Uh-huh.
Media Inc.
C Media Inc. So I imagine you have a website, you have the
We have a
various
Facebook
presence all
page.
over social media.
Yes, YouTube. We also well, we have done the Creole festivals. We have done carnivals, Creole in the Park, calypso shows, and so on. The list goes on.
All right.
Because of my foray into the politics, I've kind of taken a few steps back from my media endeavors. But I still do stuff from time to time for selected few clients.
All right. So welcome again. It's great to have you. Before I go to Alex, I want to say a special welcome to those who are listening on Dominica and Nature Island. RVR Jams Radio carries this weekend interview live on DG Play Channel 59. Also in the Toronto market, uh, we have Radio SBE Online that brings this weekend interview live as well. And Global Music and Talk or Talk and Music. Let me see. GTM, Radio GTM also carries this week in interview live. And then we have Twitch TV /TDN link, TDN network, I mean. So Twitch, like we have a Twitch, TWITCH, twitch.tv/TDN network uh, carries this week in interview live. And of course, you can find us on all the various media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, um, YouTube, Roku. We are live um,
TBN is all over the place.
all over the place. Uh, I tonight is a program where I want to, before I bring Alex up on stage. Um, I saw, well, so we were discussing doing a program post Carnival. And of course, anytime TDN does that, our go to person is Alex Bruno, Steinberg Henry. Those are the people that we bring on. Steinberg talks about Calypso and so on. But we went to Alex, but I happened to go on Alex media page and I saw that he was going to do a live um, at tonight. And so I reached out to him and I said, well, can we just collaborate? And of course, if he had said no, I would put him on blast because he belongs to Team Unity. No, no, but Alex doesn't say no to us really, and Alex doesn't say no to the opportunity to share and to collaborate and to cooperate. And so, as expected, he said yes, and hence we have this program tonight. Alex, I'm pretty sure that you're streaming this live on your media pages and so on. So I'm going to tell you welcome and give you the opportunity to hail your fans on your media page and so on.
Okay, well, thank you, Tony. Thanks for being transparent. That's how I operate as well. Yeah, you approached me. I told you contact Carlos. I'm okay with that. You do what do logistics. Make sure we are live on my page, live on your page. Let's make it happen. And I think Carlos can answer to it being live on my page. That's how I do. And I'm happy that you said that I'm always willing to collaborate. I hope those who have been asking to collaborate would be of the same persuasion, because that's what I'm about: collaboration, unity for progress, especially when it comes to the political fraternity. Those of us who are on the alternative side, they normally refer to us as the opposition. I don't really like calling the alternative the opposition because opposition suggests negative, regression. I think we are the alternative and we have ideas to build our nation. So I rather refer to all of us, UWP, Freedom, and all the other parties, TUD, as part of the alternative. We'll speak about that a bit later on. Carlos also mentioned that he was the one who contacted me about putting a team together to have a different kind of political conversation, and that is true. There are people who credit me for creating the party. It wasn't me, it was Carlos who actually said, Alex, I have some like-minded young people. We are thinking of doing something. You have been involved. Do not give up on the quest. We need you to help us to set something up. And I helped and became part of TUD, Team Unity Dominica. The last party I was involved with didn't quite work out because, again, of some behavior of some people. I was at the back trying to push people forward. I learned my lesson, and this time around, I'm not at the back. I'm not pretending. I'm not hiding. I am part of it, and I'm very proud to stand with Carlos. But it was Carlos's idea. He was the one who got me involved in politics again, to get involved in creating another platform. And that's why I drag him everywhere I go. I drag him behind the field. You have to
I'm
lead this.
sure.
You have to
I'm
lead
sure
this.
he comes willingly.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. And finally, what we had arranged to do on my platform solo was to talk about the lessons learned from the Barbados elections and how we can, take a page from what happened in Barbados to speak to our situation in Dominica. And when you called me about collaborating with TDN Radio, I was more than happy to do so. So I avail myself to you for that conversation and also for the Carnival conversation.
Awesome. Carlos, take the opportunity to tell folks about your various media platforms where this program is being streamed.
Right now, you can find it on Alex's page, that's in Alex Powell Bruno on Facebook, and you can also find it on the Team Unity Facebook page, Team Unity Dominica TUD. We're live on these platforms as well.
Awesome. Right. All right. Let's get this going. Carlos, you are in Dominica.
Yes.
Right.
Land of the Buyo. Land of Calypso.
Yeah. And Alex, you didn't go down for Carnival?
No. I was not invited, so I'm in Florida as we speak.
All right, and neither did I travel for the Carnival, but nowadays with technology and with the amount of coverage, I think those of us that were not there to have our senses dulled by the noise and the alcohol probably even see more of the Carnival. I saw this one social media lady, Jessie Wu. She seems she's of Haitian origin, and she just featured so much because it's like way Dominica people can fet without rest, fet without stop. They can fet. Carlos, you being the person on the ground, I'm going to give you the first dibs to give us your overall impression of the Carnival. You can include Calypso, you can include the Queen Show, you can include the days of Jump Up, and anything other aspect of the Carnival that you want to deal with.
Well, I think the product has come a long way in the development. In times past, you would see a lot less collaboration. When I can start with the Calypso on the Calypso side. I noticed that the new executive of the Calypso Association have started bringing in the Buyo from the early stages, even before the grand finals. They had some of the solo Buyo artists being part of the show as well. So add another element to it, and as well as bringing on the big band Triple K during the waiting period that you're waiting for the judges to make their deliberations. And I welcome things like that, the inclusiveness. I remember in times past there was a little argument of competing events happening at the same time as the Calypso show. I listened to the president of the Calypso Association put out the information that persons who went to the other event that started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's a Viva, and would want to be interested in coming to the Grand Calypso finals, were offered 50% discount. So as long as you can show your armband and you were in Viva, they offer discount. But overall, you look at the events on as a whole, you see a lot more promoters putting on the events, and the standard of those events. Yes, the visitors especially, they have been giving a lot of positive reviews. And of course, and we cannot complain about the reach of our music. The Buyo, albeit the big push came because of the nasty business, and some persons may not like it, like myself included, but I have no real issues with I welcome it. I don't it's not my cup of tea, so to speak, but I welcome it in this space because what all music have the people that consume them. And if you look at what's going on for our music industry right now, a lot more emphasis is being placed on the Buyo. A lot more attention is being looked at in the Buyo. And I credit that to a lot of the emergence of the nasty business.
So, I mean, we talk about the nasty business, right? But it is apparent that is what the consumers are consuming and
Right.
demanding more of. And so that's what the artists are catering to. Alex, I'll come to you and ask you about your general impression about the carnival.
So generally, I think Carnival 2026 was largely successful. Large numbers of people, based on my observation, on in terms of what I saw on social media. There seem to be more and more people, Carnival followers, who participate in Dominica's Carnival. So I saw the Haitian lady you spoke about. I also saw another lady who compared her feeling of our Carnival to Trinidad and felt that Dominica's Carnival had something, a leg up on Trinidad's for whatever reason and whatever experience you might have had. And I think we are quickly getting the reputation of a nation of fete, which is a good reputation to have. There's nothing wrong in fete, having great fetes, big fetes, as long as we can commercialize those fetes and make those fetes make money and make people around those fetes make money. As long as we do not just leave it as that. It should not just be fete. We have that great reputation. We should try and do something more with the big reputation that we have. Bouillon is carrying us. The Bouillon lyrics, some of them gone in the nasty trend, a bit suggestive. We're not going to fight that. I'll never fight nasty business because to each their own. And we have had nasty business in the arts for a long time. It's just that there was different ways of handling the nasty business, the nasty lyrics. And the chief in terms of exponents of zesty and crafty management of smut is Mighty Sparrow. He was a master at that, and he came from a different era. And I don't even think any effort is being made by the nasty business singers to mask and to treat the smut any differently. I think, as you said, Tony, that is palatable to most people. That's what some people like, and I guess it works. It makes money, so people are actually using it. So that's my observation in terms of Bouillon continuing to carry our flag. The Queen show actually themed itself behind after Bouillon. The World Crane Music Festival before had that same theme as well. And it seems Bouillon run the road during the carnival. I heard one or two Calypsonians saying that Kaiso is not Bouillon and they should divorce themselves from the Bouillon, but that's a mistake. Kaiso has to attach itself to the Bouillon because Bouillon is Kaiso's daughter or son. And Kaiso is an aging grandmother who needs its son or its daughter to help it out. So Calypso has to find a way to have Bouillon help it. And what Carlos talked about in terms of having Triple K on the stage was fantastic. Having the Bouillon on the stage in the other Calypso show is also fantastic. But that is not quite the magic. The magic has to be a bit more. The idea that the Calypso was given 50% from coming from the other Fed should do the same thing for Calypso. Calypso should probably try and switch its start time instead of 9 o'clock and starting late at 9. Start earlier too. Put some pressure on the other Fed as well. Start the same time with the other Fed and give the same offer as the other Fed is giving. So people will choose where to go, and if they go there, they can come the same place and get the same benefit. But I think where Calypso is starting right now is a problem. CAISO has to start with the other Fed and tell the other Fed, pong for pong, let's do what we have to do. You give me 50% on your takes, I give you 50% on my takes. So we all compete on the same playing field. But right now, where the other Fed start, it really drowns out Calypso. And most of the people who go to the other Fed would have been CAISO patrons. So CAISO has to up its game, bring the big bouillon bands and the artists on its stage as well, turn CAISO from just a show to a Fed, and share the Fed same vibes. Give people an option to do either CAISO Fed or the Viva la Carnaval Fed. Again, I'm giving these general suggestions in discussion with Calypso, and sometimes you give suggestions, but it's the implementation that is important. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that Carissa and Tim, we can have a conversation about that. Because if Calypso is going to survive, CAISO has to change. Commercially, it will die sooner rather than later if we continue starting at 9 and then starting later than that and running the show the way the show has been running. The CAISO has to be a FET right now because it's FET that makes money in Calypso, in Carnival. I mean, people talking about going to FETs, and CAISO has not been called in any of the FETs the social influencers are talking about. You cannot have one of the biggest traditional cultural events not being called in the name, among the names of things and events that people are going to do. So that is just my way of suggesting something publicly. And of course, if Carissa continues to engage me, we will have far-reaching conversation as to what else we can do with the Calypso to feterize it. If CAISO, it has to survive commercially in Dominica, maybe for the next 2-3 years. If not, CAISO will continue to plunge. And we do not want that for CAISO.
So, to expand on what you said, I think that Calypso Association has to see themselves as professionals, not a part-time hobby kind of volunteer, whatever it is. When people have options, you cannot disrespect them and expect them to just follow the disrespect because of tradition or because of culture or because of what. So if there's a show that's supposed to start at 9 p.m.,
it should
at
start.
9 p.m., it should start at 9 p.m. I will give people a story. Alex and I collaborated. He came to New York to do this play twice. Man can lie.
Man does lie. And woman can lie.
Man does lie and woman can lie. And we scheduled the show for 7 p.m. At 7:05, Alex started, and he apologized for the late start. At 7:05. The show took an hour and a half, let's say 2 hours, because we look at intermission and so on. There are people that showed up at 9 o'clock, and of course they missed the show. And I asked how you can start the show so early. We just reached and the show finished. I have to respect your time. I have to respect the time of the security people that we hire. I have to respect the time. And so there's nothing more disrespectful than you buy a ticket, you hard-earned money, you buy nice clothes, you dress up, and you go into a show with all your anticipation, and then you get inside of the place, and all your makeup running, all your hype gone, because you're in the show days early for an hour and a half before the show actually starts. So that's at the very basic level, that's where they have to start. Start to see themselves as professional, respect themselves, and do what it takes to start on time. Also, run the show more efficiently. In 2026, there's no reason why it's taking more than 20 minutes to bring back results. There are computers, there's database, there is spreadsheet. If the judges a look at iPad, they enter their score while the thing is going on. The system does its tally. It spits something out at the end of the show. Judges stand up, they discuss it, they come back with the result. But after people have endured a late start, significantly late start, they've endured a whole long show with all kind of big intermission. Then you expect them to stay there, their feet tired, they're everything tired, and stand up there and wait for the result to come out for. So I think I don't need to beat a dead horse, but it has to start with professionalism. And after that, everything else can get added on. But until
Yeah.
we see Calypsonians as self-respecting, because if you respect yourself, you will set your own boundaries, and respecting their fans and their audience, they will continue to bleed support, especially when they're alternatives. I mean, there was once upon a time you started the Calypso was the only thing, so you take your blows. But now they're alternatives. Before I come back to you, I'll give you an example. When these guys come up for Labor Day, I go to support. There's a show that they have in Queens that I usually go to. Every year you go, the ticket says 9 o'clock, and you get up and you go there for 9 o'clock. When the show start, when the show really start, it's almost midnight. And in New York, those events end at 2 a.m. So you stand up in a place for 3 hours waiting for the performances to start, and then the performance only go for 2 hours. People cannot even the performers cannot even perform all of what they plan to perform. They have to truncate their performances. Calypsonians again. So I'll get off my soapbox here and come back to Carlos as the leader of TUD. You remember you opening bats tonight, huh? As the leader of TUD, how would uh, a government under the auspices or leadership of TUD look at the gains that we've made in Carnival, consolidate it, and make sure that the benefit trickles down and we see from our fete? You can include Creole Festival and the other festivals, but from that part of our economy, that entertainment part of our economy, how would you how do you see that being managed so that it can positively affect the life of the average Dominican?
So first of all, with all the events that are going on, it would be advisable and wise that we do a postmortem as a group. Any right thinking government take on board the suggestions that come out of those postmortems, including suggestions like the ones that you gave earlier, because any anybody, we have to start looking at all of those activities not just as culture but as a business. You understand? I can look at some of the more serious artists such as Mr. Rich. Mr. Rich is very serious about he's very talented musician, but in terms of the copyright laws and so on, he's very serious about that. Now, you look at the events on a whole. One of the key things that we need to remember in Dominica is our place in the Caribbean region and the access into the country. A lot of improvement has been made for that, but a lot more has to be done. And a lot of the weaknesses that we had before, it's especially in terms of the marketing of the events, a lot more emphasis, and including finance, has to be placed in those areas as well to enable the reach to be even further, so that more people can get to know even more about the authentic carnival that Dominica has to offer. And not only the carnival, but when persons come here, we have to have the supporting facilities for them as well. So it's not just as the social media influencer who came here, the Haitian lady. Say fete, 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 fete. It's not just fete. That they welcome it, but you also need to have other things for them to do as well, because Carnival ended yesterday, and a lot of them will go today, tomorrow, and on through the weekend. They're walking up and down through Roseau. They also want to do other things. So we have places like Keeping It Real in Tukari. There also the places in Scottshead. This young lady who does excellent fish down there as well. But we need to have more of the hospitality um, events, support for those events as well. We also need to focus a lot more on the housing, accommodation, this sector, not just for the hotels. This sector needs to be looked at even more. So, because when uh, I can tell you a story, I am a biker as well, and I'm part of the biking community, but I haven't been in a couple of years. But we used to actively go to St. Lucia for the St. Lucia Independence, which is around the 20th, 22nd of February. So we had that this normal battle. You go to Carnival, and right after Carnival, you go to St. Lucia. But when you go into those places, the first thing you do, you go on Airbnb and you're looking for a place of class, a place that is secure, a place that is comfortable. Because one, you're in a foreign place, you want to be secure, especially you don't know a lot of the person that you're going to be staying with. So any government that's serious about that, or theory government, of course, would look at those kind of things as well, and place even more emphasis, especially on the marketing of the events. We also have to educate our artists. While the bouyon music is getting even more popular, we have to look at the copyright laws, because from way back when we produce music, and we also use music of other persons
Yeah,
internationally.
there's a lot of cover work going on. Yeah.
Right. And I suspect a lot of those things come without permission. And when your music gets even more popular, you're going to have more light shine on it, and then somebody is going to realize, hey, that's my song. What's going on there? You understand? And in order to we need to protect our artists, and not just the fly by night promise of creating a studio for all our local artists, but we need to have some institution for to have them learn what to do, and embrace the older ones who came before us, in terms of training the guys to produce their music properly. The smart is okay. The nasty business is okay. And to correct Alex, I noticed that they have been working on tidying up the music while still doing it. One more thing before I turn it back to you: we need to embrace more of the young people, get them more involved, and that is and I say that for the especially for the calypso, because persons generally look at calypso as an older people thing. So especially when those visitors come now, the first thing they're going to look at going to is the event where the younger people are going to go to. So Viva will always take it better than Calypso finals on any given night, especially with the younger crowd that's coming into Fete. Dominic, I'm not saying that Calypso has to be a total Fete, because it's still a competition, but you need to find ways to marry more with the young people.
All right. I think it comes back to where you started, is to do a post-mortem. After you
Yes,
tear Vaval,
yes.
you definitely need to sit down early enough while it's still fresh, the experiences are still fresh, so you can document people's suggestions, recommendations, and then have a committee that's working on that full time to see how which suggestions are viable, which ones that you can implement, and so on. Alex,
Weekly
you want to
support,
jump?
weekly support, not just saying that and you're going to do it, and and we're blowing hot air with the necessary support.
No, definitely. Alex, you have anything you want to add to that? Or?
Well, not necessarily, just that I'm listening to this young man here who has matured so much as a politician, um, and someone with a very astute mind as to where we can be. And I'm hoping that the suggestions which are being made here be noted, because every idea is a good idea. And every now and then I think the producer is flashing comments being made by people who are in tune to the program as well. And these two are very, very valuable contributions. So I do not want to really add anything to what Carlos is saying, other than that there should be an official government-run postmortem when it comes to the carnival, and people's views should be taken very seriously. And Carlos, one of the things you said is, like, you were correcting me about the nasty businesses. I didn't really say that they are not making. Well, I didn't say that they cannot. I said some of them, frankly, not make the effort. Because I heard a song, I mean, just the other day that I hadn't heard, and I don't think any effort was made to deal with the lyrics in any serious way, shape, or form.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they try to go even more outlandish, because that is what that seems to, and it fits in the whole theme, because you see revelers a lot more naked. You see revelers' behavior a lot more explicit and lewd, and so the lyrics seem to fit right in there, and the question of morality that is for a different conversation. So, Alex, the idea of how can we package that so that we can make a proper industry from it. And I know you like to do polls, which I'm going to extend to say that means that you like data.
Yeah.
How can we put systems in place that can measure? It's not just numbers. I mean, it's not just numbers in a show, because they have to stay somewhere, they have to eat somewhere, they have to drink somewhere, and so on. But how do we put a system in place that can accurately measure the impact that Carnival had on the GDP of the country, and use that data to guide how we develop it further?
Well, you just pretty much have to design a measure that follows the money and captures how much money was spent into the economy, how much money was injected, how much revenue was made. Very simple. If I were to be given the opportunity to create a design to capture that, I would. I mean, it might cost maybe some money to do so, but to sit down here and tell you how it's going to be done, probably I wouldn't do that, because I'm in the business. But it's very, 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 very possible to measure economic impact when it comes to entertainment events like Carnival. And I think the government has the expertise to do so anyway. They just have to do it, employ somebody to do it, and know. Because I had done an economic impact study for the Calypso when I was in Calypso administration a few years ago, to show the sponsors who were giving us $5,000 for an event that was a joke. And I was able to show that there's $1 million business around the Calypso by showing them how that was done. So I could do the same, or anybody who understands how to do it would show the same kind of impact that surrounds the carnival. And for you to do that, you have to see the vendors, what they did, the money that the vendors make, what the money goes into, how that money stretches and impacts the different communities and areas like that. So it takes a little doing, but yes, it is very possible. And I'm hoping that the government can show us the economic impact of Carnival on terms of Dominica's economy this year as opposed to last year. I think it might be better this year, hopefully, and it continues to rise. And if we can measure that, because data is what we use to decide, if we can go by the data, we can see how to improve the product moving forward. So yes, to it is possible. As to how to do it, I will not tell you now. I mean, because sometimes as someone in the trade, you have to hold to the things that you know until such time that you're asked to do it professionally. But it is very simple to do. And
but it is absolutely necessary to have that data.
Well, you cannot operate in this business without data. Cannot, in anything that you do. Anytime you're involved in business, in any especially entertainment and politics, government, that's what drives the business. And if you don't have it, you're not in business as yet. And
All right.
I'm hoping we can get some time to talk about
I'm going to
political
take a
leaders.
sharp left turn
Mm.
and say, let's leave Carnival for now. I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell us your impression. You're on the program with me once a month, so we can flesh it out a little further. But while it's fresh, what do you think? What were your thoughts when you hear that Mia Mottley won her seat for the third time with a clean sweep? Is
Well,
Barbados really doing that well?
yeah, I wanted to know because, of course, I am following the politics, and I would have expected Mia to win. Clean sweep, probably not. But I had to make a few calls to some locals in Barbados to find out exactly what had happened because, again, I had no data to go by. But it's unprecedented, and based on the conversations I had with people who live in Barbados, it's a combination of a number of things. Mia has positioned herself as an international brand, and that has worked for the Bajan people. They like what Mia brings in terms of her international posture, and that was an election winning position for Mia. So that worked for her. She is not a clean sweep popular politician, but she is able to do so because of a number of things added. She had a very good campaign slogan. She beat the alternative with the idea for change, and she's already there for 2 terms, and she beat them on her change slogan because they did not have a united, organized, effective slogan going up against, and other things as well that did not quite
There are
work.
also multiple parties, no?
Oh, yeah,
Multiple
there were
candidates.
multiple parties disunited and making a lot of strategic blunders. In fact, the guy who resigned from her party to run, and he served in a position, he ran in a seat that the opposition traditionally chronically won, and he lost the seat because he kind of muscled somebody else out to run in that seat. And he lost. I mean, and based on what I'm hearing, people did not like too much the way he transitioned out of the government into opposition and what he did do to run against the government in a seat that he should not run again. So again, strategic, technical blunders that you're making that people do not like. The parties had no semblance of unity. There was no direct rallying call in terms of all the alternative coming together in a way that really challenges me. Yeah? Yes, there were some issues. People complained about their names were not appearing on certain polling areas where the name should have been. So parties in power find ways to do things with the list. And one of the most compelling thing about Barbados election was that the unprecedented low voter turnout, close to 30% of people turn out to vote, if not a little more, but not much more than 30%.
Yeah, I
So,
saw that. I saw that graphic. Yeah.
so the overwhelming majority of people who are registered, hopefully the list is so bloated, but I do not know, but did not turn out to vote. So a number of so the clean sweep Mia got was because of her people. She got her people out, and the opposition did not attract the people that probably would have generally gone out to vote. So it is pretty much in a situation like Dominica where people we had a very low voter turnout in the last election as well. So the clean sweep represents a clean sweep, but it's not necessarily everything the people in Barbados are saying. So the opposition in Barbados did not quite wake up. They did not measure up. The snap election also caught them off guard as well. So a number of moving parts, a number of variables based on my own observation and the conversations that I had with people living in Barbados. Is Mia popular? Yes. Is she more popular internationally than locally? Yes. Is the international brand working for her? Yes. Has the opposition measured up? No. Will it take them some time to do so? Yes. Can they do it? I think so, but it's very much difficult for them right now. And Tony, I dare say that this has lessons for us in Dominic. I can speak about Barbados election for the rest of our program, but I do not want to spend too much time
No,
analyzing the
yeah,
election.
we can flesh that out independently as a separate topic, either next
Yes.
month or
Yes.
whatever.
But that in a nutshell is what I actually got from the Barbados election, to be fair for all involved. And my work was not done based on a poll that I did, but it was mainly because of the studying the results and speaking to people on the ground, not even the scientists. I spoke to a couple of colleagues, scientist colleagues, but the ordinary Bajan who actually says, hey, Alex, that's what happened, that's what happened, that's what didn't happen, that's what could have happened. And it's not that Mia is very, 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 very popular. She is popular, don't get me wrong, but her international profile had a lot to do with that. Her slogan, her ability to control the narrative, her progressive, her positive nature, her commanding nature, her ability to speak with all groups, the local people, the people who are up different echelon of the Bajan society. The package. She presented the package that nobody else has. And that's why she was so successful this time around.
All right. So, Carlos, this is the first time I'm making your acquaintance, and you are the political leader of a political party in Dominica, which means that you are an aspiring prime minister. In my mind, that's what it means to be a political leader of a political party. I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about your thoughts on what happened in Barbados, and you can translate it to Dominica, because after that, I'm going to come back to Alex to talk about local Dominica politics, and just give us your whole general. What I'm trying to do is give you the opportunity for my listeners to get acquainted with your thinking, your philosophy as a politician, but using the elections in Barbados, using the current environment in Dominica, where even if the incumbent hasn't had a clean sweep, they're pretty close to it, and they've been there for multiple elections. So take it away, and let's talk about you know piggybacking what Alex said about Barbados, and then segue into Dominica as you feel comfortable.
What in terms of Barbados, I will confess that me personally in this election season, I did not get a chance to pay too much attention to it as compared to St. Vincent. I was more paying attention to St. Vincent and St. Lucia. Obviously, the election in Barbados was going on during our carnival season, and my attention would have been otherwise distracted. But I took note that it was going on, and I would have liked to see what I gather from what Alex was saying earlier there, greater collaboration. If you know you going up against a politician who has been sweeping the polls 2 times, you have to find some sort of common ground. Whether it means that you agree with me, you disagree with me, but we disagree with her. We have to find some sort of common ground so that we can get her out. And a situation that he described there with the previous member of Mia's party who went into opposition, this sort of thing should not have happened. He should have looked at the data and worked with the science more, and made his political decisions based on that. Now we can segue into Dominica. Dominica right now, we have a government that has an imposing majority right now.
Mhm.
And if we looking to remove that government, which should be our primary target, we should all be looking at the science, looking at the data, and most importantly, listening to what the people of the country are telling you. The reason why I decided to even delve into politics, because Mr. Drago, I will tell you, Alex can tell you that Carlos has traditionally been a behind the scenes man. I'm the one who make you look good. Right now, I have to depend on other people to make me look good. And I'm a very shy person and reserved, but I break out of my shell because the demand is there for something new, something different, something fresh to come and replace the political stalemate that we have in Dominica. A lot of our persons of my era, we look at the people around, and especially those who are leading, and say that it's like you guys are tone deaf. You're not seeing things that we are seeing. We're nothing against persons who are older, because the persons who are there before us have walked the roads before us and would have advice on things that we can do different. But bro, right now we're in the AI era now. We shouldn't still be looking. I mean, the traditional things work. You walk and meet people. Yes, you have to meet the people, but you also have to look at other ways of bringing money, which is what you primarily be interested in, money into your country. So as a politician, that is why I even entered into that field.
So, Alex, I know you have some data. I know we're pushing 9 o'clock, but we'll do another extra 15, 20 minutes. I know you have some data. From Barbados, a clean sweep in Barbados, to a clean sweep in St. Vincent, to landslide victory in St. Lucia, but zigzagging the political line from opposition to incumbent and so on. Where is the path forward for the, I'm going to use the word opposition very broadly, the people who have a common interest of seeing a different government in Dominica? That's my definition of opposition. Where is the bright path from where we are now to being able to achieve that goal in the next election when it is wronged, or at worst, the one after that?
Well, I'm going to have to go based on what the people have said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I live and die by, data. And I have information which is not a month old, but it's what I rely on right now. And I'm going to put some of that out just to provoke people to put data that contradict those data.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do, I'll put out fresh data that probably shows it worse.
Yeah.
So the producer can put any aspect of the data out, and I can start showing you what people are saying. It's not what I think. It's what Dominicans have said. Again, this was work done by Caribbean Agency for Political Advancement, CAPA, the company that I have formed.
When was that done?
Oh, that was done in January of 2023. That's when the result was tabulated. So it's a year plus.
You said 23, or you meant 25?
No, 20. Okay, so that is just showing the overall stuff. I will get to that because I don't. It's about a year and a half old now.
A year and a half. Okay, that's the context. About a little more than a year old.
Yeah. No, again, I am dealing with that because I am looking at new information, but I wanted to show that because this had been done internally for us as a team to see where we are and what was happening. So I share that because it's old, and then I want to see the people who are saying that they rely on data to show their data, so I can talk to them about what is not old and what is old. So actually, it's 2024. 2024. Right, February 2024, and that was based on quasi nationwide survey that looked at selected areas: Grand Bay, Collioure, Home, John, Petit Savan, Roseau Central, Roseau North, Roseau South, Roseau Valley, Soufriere, St. Joseph, Wesley. So not all constituencies were polled, but the majority.
Took a sample.
Yeah, sample of those constituencies. So that's pretty much what the sample was about. 1% of the people registered in the districts. So for people who are interested in statistics, that's pretty much what we did in terms of when we collected the data.
Next page, so you can see some of the results.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
So here's a question asked to the people. Given a choice to vote for a fresh set of political candidates or the existing or past candidates, what would you do? That was a question asked, and here's the answer. Here's the results. I would vote for the existing set, 12%. I would vote for a new set of candidates, 35%. It wouldn't matter. I have given up 13%. Dominica is beyond help, 25%. That's what Dominicans are saying. Here's the other question. Should all opposition parties join with the UWP? That's a question that I ask because people were saying, why can't everybody else join UWP and make one party? Look at what Dominicans think about that. 58% say no. 16% said yes. And the other question says, what are your views on the state of affairs of Dominica's progress at present? Here's the answer. 6% Dominica finished, 10% say Dominica is worth fighting for. The majority of the people say, if the people unite, we can fix Dominica. Now, those questions are asked in a way that one informs the other.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be some redacted parts there that I do so because of my interest in the results. But the question is, question 17, which current leader is better equipped to lead Dominica into a united and progressive future? If you observe here, Thompson Fontaine with 10% got the nod. But that's 10% of the people who said so. So although he got the nod, but it's a very minority nod. Look at where the Prime Minister is. Look at where Lennox Linton is. Joshua, Bernard, et al. That is not my information. That is what people are saying. So if we're talking about how we package to move Dominica forward, one could make an argument for Thompson, but people are not saying UWP. People are saying we have to find a way to freshen it and make it work. So Thompson has to be talking to everybody, if indeed he still is the person people think who can unite us in that way. Again, I'm being quite frank and open with what the people gave me. I never shared this with Thompson et al. Because the conversations never led to us having this kind of conversations. So I felt it best to go to the public and tell the public what the public have been saying. Because people are not going to blame me again, saying that I caused people to lose election. Because granted, if elections are called today, I didn't show what people say the results might be. But anybody with an iota of political knowledge will understand that the disunity among the people who are in the alternative could pretty much guarantee a win for the incumbent if things are not done properly.
In other words, let's break it down. In other words, you're saying that if in too many constituencies we have multiple candidates running against the incumbent party, it makes it easier for the incumbent party to win.
Of course, no.
Yeah.
Of course. That happened in Barbados.
It doesn't even have to go that far. If there's not a cohesive, united message that Dominicans can unite around.
But that's what Dominicans are asking for. If you go to the other slide, I can show you some more data in terms of information that we get from the poll. So the producer will put up another, because I'm being quite general. That's questions. That's general questions we will ask. Go to another one. Because we asked, I think, a number of questions altogether that was there to show. And all parties were put into the mix, and all leaders were judged at the time. Again, this might have shifted, but I'm looking at a new set of data, and it's not showing that this shifted to the benefit. It shows even a more dismal situation when it comes to people's view on the politics. So Mr. Producer, put on something else so I can actually get into that. This is general information in terms of how the demographic was broken down in terms of who answered.
No, but there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 questions right there.
Yeah.
In your view, should Roosevelt scare it? Yeah.
Continue to serve as Dominica's prime minister beyond the current term? No, 73%.
73% says no.
But that does not translate to no if things are not done right. Go back to the other page, Mr. Producer. You're moving too fast. If it does not translate to, if it is not handled well, but generally people believe that our prime minister should not continue. He has done his time. And probably it should not be the case, but that does not have to be. People don't hold me responsible if the prime minister continues, because if what has to be done is not done, the prime minister is most likely to continue as prime minister of Dominica, even if the people believe that he should not continue.
Again, I mean, it sounds like it's a similar scenario to in the US where somebody can lose the popular vote, but if they're strategic enough, they can position themselves where they win. So in Dominica, even if 70% of the people think they don't want you, but if you can strategize sufficiently so you can win it. All you need to do is win 11 seats, and
Win
you
your
can win
seats.
all. You can win 11 seats by one vote.
Or win all these seats by putting people in place to win all the seats, as Mia did. No, I'm not saying, look at the question. In your view, should Roosevelt Skerrit continue to serve? That's in your view. Should he continue to serve? That does not say he's not going to serve. People sometimes misinterpret and put value on things and say,
No,
oh,
no,
Alex,
my audience, I'm telling you, my audience is some of the most sophisticated and well-informed audience on social media. So
but I've gotten
we're not
flack.
afraid of that.
I've gotten flack in the past where people say, I see. I didn't say that. I'm saying what people say based
You're
on
saying
the,
what your poll, you're presenting the raw data that your poll reveals. That's all.
and that is very old too. It's not a
Yeah.
poll that was done yesterday.
It's 2
Things
years
could
ago.
have shifted.
2 years ago.
But I have been sitting on this. We are getting ready to look at a new set of data. And I'm looking at the data and I'm saying, let me just go ahead and put that out there. So we speak about it. Hopefully, this creates a conversation and we kind of find ways to strategize and to see what the people are saying and to give the people what they want. The second question, do you believe DLP should continue to serve in government? People say no. And the DLP people will understand that too. People will always obviously say no, but they will do what they have to do to stay. And again, they're going to use that information I'm giving you out there. Watch me, Carlos. They're going to use that and they're going to say, because I know, Tony, in the past, that people inside the camp have told me that I've given them ammunition for them to use. The same people who are working with them strategies from outside of Dominica say that what this guy is saying is the case. And we have to be careful. Here's what we do to combat what he has said. So I'm
finding, not what you said, but what you are finding out.
What I'm finding out. So I'm putting things out there again, knowing that I'm going to be ostracized on both sides. But that is what Dominicans have told me. I cannot hide it. Dominicans have to know that we know. And if we have not implemented what Dominicans are saying, the people who implement best will win. The question, rate Skerrit's job performance as Prime Minister of Dominica. Here we go. Excellent 1%, great 1%, 15% good, average 38%, poor 43%. Rates the job of the opposition leader at the time, Jesma Paul. It's right there. That's what people are saying based on the performance of these individuals.
So, Alex, I fancy myself amateur statistician, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
If your sample size is random, okay, you go into a constituency and you choose 1% of that constituency, the registered voters in that constituency. So if a constituency has 500 people, you pick what, 50? Is that what it is? Yeah. So all 50 people chosen randomly. I would imagine that out of those 50 people, maybe 20% of them would be labor rights.
Well, you never know. It depends on who is.
Because random, I mean,
and convenient as well, not just random, but convenient.
Yeah.
But somebody who you meet randomly must be able to speak, and they must accept and agree to do. So you never know.
But all of that is equal. It wouldn't be saying that people who are labor rights are more likely to be employed, so they wouldn't be available to answer questions as opposed to
people can say that, but I do not.
Or whatever. But when you tell me that for the sitting prime minister, you can only get 2 people that think that he's doing a great to an excellent job, tells me that is very likely that there are labor rights who don't think that their prime minister is doing a great to an excellent job.
That is correct. And they declare themselves as to me outside unsolicited information and say, but Alex, but what are we going to do? Who best? Who else? Who else? Yeah, we don't mind China thing, but who?
That to me is the most instructive thing right there, is that even when you poll in people where there is a representative sample of all views, it is so difficult to get a thumbs up for the incumbent government.
Well, after 20-something years, what do you expect? You're not going to get a great polling result for the government. But the thing about the government is the government
has 1%.
The government has the machinery. The government has the machinery to turn that into a win. I did polling some time ago and naively put information out that these guys jump on. People from inside the government come to me, by Alex, but you have no idea the gift you give us. And they work it and to spin it. There was one time I suggested that 82% of Dominicans suggested that there should be change. and people, they castigated me after. Oh, I couldn't say that, but they did the work based on what I put out. Now, this is all, they can work on that if they want, but the new information even show a different kind of a picture. But Tony, I just wanted to speak about it because I cannot be crunching data, looking at figures, sitting down on it, and seeing things being done wrong in the system and not say something about it. That's what Dominicans are saying.
Alex, I'm continuing my trend of thought.
Go ahead.
That if we're polling, even if we take a margin of error, whatever, and we are saying that the general feeling in the country is so skewed. I mean, when President Trump rating is in the 30%, he going crazy because that's a very poor rating. We have an incumbent government that's getting ratings in the single digits, but yet continue to win election. In my mind, I'm computing that, and you correct me if that's a wrong conclusion, that there is something wrong with our method of electing leaders to government. Because the elections don't, it seems like it's too easy for the election to give a result that does not, that in no way, shape, or form reflects the belief of the majority.
I don't think it's the method that's the problem. It's the control of the method that's the issue.
Can I suggest?
Sure.
Can I suggest
Go ahead.
something? Or one side is looking at the information and finding ways of working with it, and the other side's not looking at the information and not working with it. It could be that too.
Right, but that tells that points me towards manipulation. Again, comes back
That's
to my
what I'm going to come to talk about.
Conclusion that our electoral process is too easily manipulated.
Well, not easily. I mean, one side controls the system, controls the process.
There you go.
That's what happens. It's not that the method is bad. It's the person who controls the method that is controlling the method and skewing the results. I mean, look at, we had reform, electoral reform. And right now we are doing reconfirmation of voters. I mean, and you have to get certain kind of a document to be able to reconfirm when you had been on the list already. Making it difficult for people to reconfirm makes it an economic problem. So the reform was net benefit for the incumbent. And if reform or not, the incumbent stand even a better chance to win after the reform because of how they control the system. So there's nothing really wrong with the method, it's the control that the incumbent has. They have an election winning machinery. So they may look bad in terms of how people think, but they can turn that into a win because they have all the means to do so. All the means. I mean, you know about the importation of the votes into certain areas, which is now something that is yes, sacrosanct.
You know, there was a lot of people who were, whether secretly or silently, crossing their fingers behind their back and hoping that all the ban on travel to Dominica that Dominica is going through right now will make it more challenging for that to happen. But after the bumper crowd of travelers we had for Creole Fest and for Carnival, these people must be going to look for a new rosary to pray with.
And as we speak, those people are reconfirming themselves on the voter list to return when the time is. And what a united front should be doing is encouraging those people to reconfirm and telling them it's important that they do so. Are you hearing a clarion call from people in the opponent and the opposition saying that we need to do this in sport is life? I mean, it's a matter of almost life and death. No, it's like, don't do it. It's like almost a taboo. You need to get people reconfirm on the list. So when the time comes to vote, they most likely will vote for your side. And that is the problem. That, again, I think the emphasis is placed on the wrong things in the opposition. We are talking about right now raising money to take on the government in the court on something, when we should be raising money and uniting to take the government out of office. Every dollar that should be spent in politics in Dominica now should be spent on strategically taking this present government out of office. And there's a gentleman who gave some very free, unsolicited advice to the opposition. I think he was referring to a leader of an opposition party. And I have the video. I'm not even sure whether we should play it or not, but his name is Palissot. And Palissot is not Palissot. Palissot is Palissavant. Because this man is actually saying, forget about the rabbit hole that this other man went down. It didn't work. It will not work. And the poll that I've done prior to this one suggested that Dominicans do merely, Dominicans are not perturbed with what you say about the current prime minister. Move past that. Forget about your preoccupation and your support of what you're saying against the prime minister. The more you speak against our current prime minister is the more you make him strong. Our prime minister probably even want to leave this business, but you are keeping him in the business by castigating him, by promising to send him to jail. What is the supporters going to do when you say you're going to send him to jail? They're going to put him in office, keep him in office so he doesn't go to jail. The prime minister did his due, thank him for what he has done, and let's move on from where he left off. But that narrative of constantly hitting him, trying to kill him, trying to put him down, trying to demean him, now you taking him to court for what? What is that going to benefit you? When you can get the money that you're asking for to strategize, to pay me and whoever else is helping you, to find a way to put a united front and take him out of office. So that is my preoccupation. It has been since 2019. Let's find a different kind of language. The opposition as is now will not win. No single one party can and will win. We have to change the narrative. Go back to the drawing board, spend some time, think, present a new kind of politics. If we don't, I believe the status quo stand the chance to continue serving in Dominica until they implode. No, I do not know how long it's going to take
until Dimitri can take over.
Well, or something like that.
I'm just saying that because years ago I heard this guy say, and if I continue to do whatever they do, I will stay in office until Dimitri get big enough to take over.
Yeah, well,
anyhow.
Nana do, you know, for the people in office.
The Thompson Fountain.
I don't think much is being done.
PhD.
That is the video.
Renowned economists.
Yes.
The delegates, the administration, the supporters, and the well-wishers of the United Workers' Party. I have a concern.
Why is the audio so bad?
The previous leader, Lennox Linton, dug a tunnel like a snake, and he never saw the light at the end of that tunnel. Mr. Thompson Fountain, please do not make that same error. Do not go down the same tunnel that a snake has dug. You will get beaten, sir. The missing billions of dollars in escrow accounts or offshore accounts, let it be, sir. Let bygones be bygones. Dollars lost, money lost cannot never be regained, sir. Your energy, sir, your energy, the new body, the executive members, our energy should be on helping the needy citizens on the island of Dominica from age 1 to 99. We should try our best to help and aid students, grannies, individuals that are mental, sir. That is the drive we should focus on, sir. So any monies we gain from the diasporans, sir, or local citizens, sir, should not go to fight no court case against Roosevelt Skerrit and his government, sir. Monies lost can never be regained. You are the top economists. Dominicans are dependent on you to tell them how you're going to take $1,000, sir, and make it into $100 million, sir. $1, sir, to $10,000, sir. That is what Dominicans want to hear from you, sir. Not no missing phantom $10 billion, sir. Let bygones be bygones.
All right, let's not play the
If you want
entire
to be a leader,
speech
yes,
right now.
sir,
I think we got the
focus
gist.
on the people on the island of Dominica, sir. Put your energy, no matter what. It can be 10 cents, sir. You can spread that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much what I've been saying. Too much is too much. Enough is enough. Change. Forget about that. Now, when you get into office, which I hope you do, when I say you, I mean the alternative, you can look at things, go back to things. There's always time to look at these things. But if your emphasis is no, instead of trying to replace is to go to court to sue for money that has already happened. So Palisot is on the money. And people will not like me because I'm always open to say those things. But somebody has to say it. Some people believe that the UWP should be sacrosanct, should be untouchable. No, I'm not challenging UWP. I'm saying what the data has found. Of course, I'm politically aligned. I'm part of TUD and we are preparing to run. But we want to run with a group of people who understand that we're running for a particular purpose. To me, fighting to create and get candidates in place and build my party, it doesn't make sense. We should be trying to rescue Dominica. So if I have 5 candidates already, I don't have to get more candidates. Let us see how much you have. If my 5 are not as effective as your 5, we will work it out and see what we're going to do. But we should talk. We cannot talk when elections are called. It's too late. People have committed, people do stuff like that, and then we're going to lose another election because we're not organized. So that is what I have been saying. Some people don't like it. Some people don't want to talk. Some people say we have time to talk, but we don't have time. We should be talking 2 years ago, getting ready for whenever that bell is rung. We come and we show our trump card. But the way things are going now, Tony, in the fraternity of the alternative, no pokola. And the prime minister could do something similar to what Mia did, because it's a snap Mia call as well. Mia got re-elected in 22. She went a year early. Or prime minister can go a year early now. You think if the prime minister don't make a call election now, we stand a chance? I mean, right now, I don't think so. Only if they know things that I do not know. The polls, they show them other things, and they have, largesse.
Yeah.
Sitting there waiting, but I just do not see it happening. So that's why I felt the need to, after the Mia clean sweep again, to come here and talk about our situation. And if anybody's upset at that, well, they can take it to France and learn to dance in a barrel of ants. I am saying things as I see it. And as someone who deals with the data, I cannot be at my age and my stage in my country, be afraid to say what the people are saying. Because the gatekeepers of the politics in Dominica wants to keep people out so that their keeps is protected. Gatekeeping should be to maintain integrity, yes, but not to keep the progress from happening. And some people want to control how the politics goes and who runs the politics, and that is wrong. It's time to make way for a fresh idea, a new group of people, or to interject your old ideas into new ideas and work together as a team to make it happen. And that's what I've been saying from 2019.
I see the logic in that. But anybody that listened to me knows that I am the biggest critic of the opposition forces and the approach to electoral reform. And people criticize me. They say, "Oh, you will never get term limits because it needs a constitutional amendment. We will never get fixed date for election." But I will tell you that I firmly believe that unless number one on electoral reform, number one is term limits, and number two is a fixed date for election, all of what we do about electoral reform is spinning top in mud, spinning our wheels, making chim, whatever it is you want to call it. And I've been proven right, because after 10 years of fighting for electoral reform, what we get, a re-registration, a reconfirmation, that's being done like a hatchet job to further disenfranchise people who are not supporting the incumbent. Me, I'm not interested in any talk about electoral reform that doesn't have, number one, term limits, number two, a fixed date for election. I don't care about anything else after that. I shouldn't say I don't care about anything. Anything else after that is a far, far, far further than fourth and fifth and sixth.
Campaign finance reform as well should be in that as well.
Would be nice.
and boundary size, electoral district size as well. So
would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that they not need it, but I'm saying would be nice. I'm saying as long as you're not talking about term limit and a fixed date for election, it's a non-starter, because at the end of the day, the leader has to know he's going to expire in 10 years.
Jaigo, do you see this present administration implementing any of those things?
No.
Listen.
Do we wait?
Listen to how I answer your question.
Do we force them to do it, or
Yes.
do we
My
work
answer,
with you?
my answer is yes.
Yes, but can we force them to do it?
And my answer to that is yes.
I don't think we can.
I think
And-
the same fight that we fight to get us where we are with the reconfirmation, if we had fought that fight on term limits, we would be getting term limits.
I think our focus should be on getting the government out, and if people understand what TUD was created for, this was never been a platform, because Carlos has never been interested in long term or politics. When I started, a pilot I wanted to be, a pilot I wanted to be.
Yeah,
And
but
I couldn't
Carlos,
get
it's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about
It's
Alex.
about
It's not
Dominica.
about any
It's
one
about-
individual.
It's about Dominica, and
As a
and
member,
that's the point I'm trying to make. If when you have a situation like that, our focus should be on, okay, this is the hands that we are dealt with. We're playing cards. How can I win with those cards that I have? We need to win and get them out, fix the system, and everybody can go back to their party.
let me tell you my thinking. We just spoke about how easy it is for the party in power to manipulate the levers
That is
and
true.
to create an unfair advantage. You
But
just
what
confirm
Alex also said.
You just confirm with me that the incumbent party is not going to willingly do anything that they perceive is not would lead them to a loss. So with those two things combined, we have to bake into the system an expiration.
So here is my suggestion, which is past, so I can say it now. But what you're talking about could have happened if that became the slogan and the raison d'etre and the reason why the opposition should have contested the election that was called without the reform. Guys, enough is enough. That is what make that your campaign plan, your strategy, what you live and die by. Vote for us, and within a month of when we win, we are going to regularize this thing once and for all. Make it a reason why people should want to put you in, because as Carlos said, the government, the present majority will not. But campaign so strong on it. Do not boycott an election because of it. Contest on it. Manipulate, change things around. Maybe put somebody exciting and younger to lead the charge and get some young people to voice the thing. Change the way in which you do the politicking. Change your color. Put some new color to your color. Bring some people and fight. That should be your strategy for you to win. Put us in office, and within 10 days after we win, we're going to announce term limit, fixed term, and whatever the case might be. So you have to campaign like life depends on it. Like that is going to be your bread and butter if you put us in office. Not contesting the election is making it easier for the party not to do it.
And these guys don't care how they win, you know. Win is a win.
They don't care. It's easier.
They don't care how they win. They have no honor. A win is a win.
These guys were happy with the lack of contest.
He said Chupul, and he said it as much. He said Chupul.
No, they were not saying, well, look at that, no boy. No, they were happy.
They were happy.
Easiest thing with Nana Dewey, the last
They didn't
election.
have to spend the money they didn't want to spend.
So now you didn't contest. And whatever you think happened, didn't happen or happened. Now you contesting. Why you couldn't contest the last time and you contesting this time? What have changed? It's even worse now.
Alex, I suspect we need to stop because we'll go. Not because I don't want to say it, because we'll go. We're already half an hour beyond. Carlos, I'm going to give you the opportunity to push back at me, to state your case, state TUD's case, whatever. Just some closing remarks.
Well, in addition to what Alex mentioned, we faced a battle with an opposition party campaigning against us when they were not even participating in an election, going as far as to contacting persons, family members, and so on. I need not go too much into that. But this is the kind of things, the kind of tribalism that we're dealing with. And I am an open book. I'm easy to talk to. Anybody can tell Carlos is an easygoing person. But TUD is here. The one of the reasons that we decided to form the organization was to not to be a political party for 100 years, like other organization, but to provide, to be the change maker for Dominica, so to speak. And a part of our mantra, what we don't want to be here, is part of it's entrenched in our constitution. We have no interest in being in office for more than 2 terms. And we believe we can fix Dominica within that time. And after that, TUD cease to exist. If for some reason there are some allowances for, say for example, there's a great call for Dominicans to requesting for TUD to stay longer, but it has to be ratified by our constitution, and as well, our leader doesn't stay for more than 2 terms neither. So these are the kind of things that we want to present to Dominicans, as well as, of course, many of all the ideas that are presented in our manifesto. Even some of them I see being taken on by the current administration, and we welcome them. But just see where you get it from.
Thank you, Carlos. Alex, wrap it up.
Well, what Carlos says is true. The 2 terms, they're not serving for long. The movement seeking to recontinue after 2 continuous terms in office, and all of that is constitutional. If you read the Constitution of TUD, that's what it's pretty much saying. Carlos, yes, started off as the leader, but the idea was not for Carlos to be prime minister. It was for us to have a conversation and see what we can put together in terms of building team. So it is not that we are saying we are going to win. We know better that we cannot win on our own, but we want to have a different kind of conversation. I believe I am interested in this. If I was interested in running for office in Dominica, I would have been in politics. I would have been in government right now. I said so without any idle boast. I would have probably been leading the opposition right now, because I know what conversations that I had, and I just do not play game. I don't play game with Dominica and Dominicans. I was not interested. I'm not now interested, and I don't have any desire to be in office. I just want to make sure that we safeguard the sanctity of our government. The Honorable Prime Minister of Dominica has served his time. He has been there for a while. And I honestly think the brother is tired and he would like to go, but he doesn't feel confident that there is a team of people who are standing to replace him, who will continue the legacy of building our country. And maybe he has other reasons as well. He has other reasons, I don't know. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. I think after 20 years of being prime minister, anybody should be tired and fed up of that. And he's ready to go. But we have to help him to go. But what we are doing, we're helping him to stay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have to create the environment where the prime minister feels comfortable enough to move on to something else. I don't think we should threaten to throw him in jail, because that's not going to work for us. He's not going to go if he feels that if he leaves, he's going to go to jail. I mean, it's common sense in the politics that we are not applying. Chances are, I do not know what's going to happen tomorrow, but our position should not be vendetta. Enough of that already. Show Dominicans what you can do for them and how you're going to do it for them, and Dominicans will rally with you. It is easier, Tony, to beat the present government now than to lose against them. It is easier to defeat them if only we implement the right strategies, put the right message forward, and let the people see what we are coming with, and the people will support it. I'm 100% sure that this can be the case.
It's a good place to live with the word strategy. And I don't know if when they send those books to Dominica, the chapter that talk about strategy, they pull it out. I don't know if the dictionaries that in Dominica, they tear the page that had the word strategy on it. I don't know if the government have something blocking the internet, where that when you're in Dominica and you type the word strategy on the internet, you get a 404 error. Page doesn't exist. But there's something going on in Dominica that makes strategy a bad word. And the only person that seems to have the resources to go outside and get it is the incumbent.
Yeah.
Because they certainly are implementing strategy.
Hold on, we don't have to go outside to get the strategy that we
But
need.
if they're blocking it on the internet and the page, every page they have it, they repeat out, where are you going to get it? Because I can never understand why. So, perfect example. Alex, I'll go to you. You talk about the boycott of the election. United Workers' Party decided to boycott the election. They boycotted the election. The election call, and everybody looked like, okay, so we boycott the election. What is the next step? What is step number 2 after we boycott the election? Nothing.
But I could tell you what I was told, what I heard the leader said. The leader said the international world will delegitimize the current government. That is what they were thinking. That's what I heard the leader said. In
my conclusion that when you're in Dominica, the word strategy is a bad word.
I mean, how could you think that because you didn't run, they're going to delegitimize the person that ran?
And so what if they delegitimize it? What does it have to do with the price of tea in China?
It doesn't change the price of oil in Dominica.
Anyhow, gentlemen, I really enjoyed the discussion. We start with FET and we end up with jokes, But it's a serious joke because I don't think anybody will disagree with us when we say that the incumbent government is tired and they've exhausted all the ideas that they've had.
Yeah.
The only thing that on surface it appears to be thriving is World Queer Music Festival, Carnival, and so on. But we don't even know because we don't have the data to prove that the crowd is trickling down to an increase that the local people can feel. So I think that there's no doubt, I'm with you, Alex, that I don't think it's more difficult to win than it is to lose. But there are some clear steps and some clear paths that we have to be willing to follow. So Carlos, thank you for coming. It was great to make your acquaintance. Literally, I'm meeting you for the first time tonight, and I thank you for stepping forward to serve. And in the company of Alex, you will definitely be in the company of someone who's encouraging you to look at things not just on the surface, which is key, to really look at it, examine it, question it, interrogate it, test it, and be willing to accept a misstep, correct it, and step forward again. I think if your association with Alex, you must have seen that already, but definitely that would be a great benefit. And Alex, as always, thank you for coming, man. We do this as we've been doing this. We're doing this every month, once a month, and you can feel free to bring Carlos with you anytime you choose to, or anybody else.
I'll think about
anybody else.
Yeah. I'll think about that.
Or anybody else.
Carlos
Or
is a great
anybody
guy.
else. Yeah.
He's the guy who has me active in politics today. I credit him for that, but I also tell him that he's responsible for whatever blows I get. And there's a common notion in terms of the political palace that I make trouble when it comes to the things that I do in politics. Of course, if it's to talk about those things, I'm always going to cause trouble, because there are some who just sit down there begging, gasping about what we should do and not doing what we should do. I think Carlos being younger than I am, I'm always pushing him more forward, and Carlos can attest, Drago, that there is nothing that I have done. Carlos and I have never had an issue, any disagreement about anything. We look at the data, we respectfully face the data, and we plan of what is to happen. And I'm hoping that after tonight's conversation, that people continue to talk and we find ways to work and to go and help save our country. I mean, I see the producer has been flashing a lot of comments, very interesting comments. I guess we'll go over it some other time later on. But let me thank you again for having me. As you say, we do this once a month. I do not know when we're going to do it again, but let me know and
Our
give me
scheduled our scheduled time is the fourth Wednesday of every month.
fourth Wednesday.
Just
All right.
because I wanted to do something sort of carnivalish, I ask you if you will accommodate a switch. But the fourth Wednesday of the month
All
is
right. No worries.
our
So we're not
schedule.
meeting again in February. We're going to meet
No,
again
we in March. In March.
no worries.
This
Well, I
was
hope the
our
people look out for that and we continue to have these frank and fair exchanges. And we look forward to the better fortunes for our country moving forward. Thank you so much, Anthony and Sam, for what you guys are doing on TDN. I hope this is a model that other media can follow to allow for free flowing expressions. And if other media concerns can do that, I think Dominica will be a better place.
I think so too. I think so too. So Carlos, all the best.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you to your listeners for tuning in. I look forward to at another opportunity to engage. I'm always willing to engage. That is a mantra for our party. TUD is all engaging. Carlos
So
will engage with anybody.
so
Uh,
Carlos, when you come back, there's been a few comments here that we might want you to address how a TUD led administration will address. The banking system came up. Air travel people, having the airlines be more responsible to
Mhm.
their passengers coming
Mhm.
in terms of their bags being left
Engage.
behind and those things. So we will talk about you coming back and have you present to the audience some of those vexing issues that our people are subjected to and how the TUD would approach um, ameliorating, mitigating some of those issues.
Sure,
So,
no problem.
all right. So
Sure, no
thank you.
problem.
All right.
Feel free to reach out.
Definitely. And Alex, thanks, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
All
give
right.
thanks.
Thanks. All right, folks. So, folks, I hope that you understand what we're doing with these programs. Definitely just education. It doesn't mean that because I bring Alex and Carlos on that I am a member or a supporter of TUD. My idea is that we need to have conversation and we need to have dialogue. I will do the same thing for United Workers Party, if that's what it is. In fact, I didn't bring Alex on as CUD. I brought Alex on because I want somebody I can talk to on a monthly basis about things that's going on, and let's see if we can come up with solutions among ourselves. He just happens to be part of TUD. So automatically, of course, he's going to have the opportunity to represent his interest. But it is open to anybody to have similar conversations. Similarly, we have the conversation once a month with food production and sustainable agriculture with Adrian Banis. So that will be next week. So so we ended up switching Alex and Adrian. But folks, I am going to say good night and tell you. Yeah, I hope if that is your belief, you got your ashes. I hope you enjoy your carnival. If that is your part of your cultural celebration or whatever it is, I hope that you stayed safe. Carlos said he was a biker, and so when he comes back, I'm going to ask him about his ideas about road safety for our bike for the biking community in Dominica. Something needs to be done about that. We lose our young people in the prime of their lives. So good night, folks. And I didn't take a commercial break. Our sponsors wouldn't be too bad on us, but I wanted to really just keep this dense. And of course, thank you to Sam and the rest of the team for helping to put this program together. This has been This Week in Interview with your host, Anthony Drago. Good night.